Ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests who include State Representative Osborne, good morning and welcome to the Simsbury Veterans Day ceremony. I'm your Master of Ceremony. I'm Colonel Steve Breton, United States Army retired and member of the Veterans of Foreign Wars post-1926. At this time, please rise for the presentation of the colors by the Veterans Color Guard, consisting of members from both American Legion Post 84 and Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 1926, as well as the Scout Color Guard from Troop 76. Commander of the Guard, post the colors. It is my honor to now invite Reverend George Harris, Senior Pastor of the First Church of Christ and Navy veteran, for the invocation. Reverend Harris.
Let us be together in prayer. Gracious and loving God, we lift our voices in prayer to remember our veterans and honor their service. As we approach the 250th year of military service to this great nation, and at a time when our union feels divided and fragile, we affirm our gratitude to veterans for serving as the glue which binds us together, our example of unity through shared sacrifice. For whether in a foxhole, on a ship, in an office, or a mess hall, our veterans unite us. The oath we take before you, God, joins us across our every difference, forever bound by our shared commitment to defend the Constitution of these United States. May the example of our ancestors, and by our example today, may we bear witness to what it means to commit our very lives to each other, and by binding ourselves together, recommit ourselves to a higher good, beyond even this country we love, but to you, God, our moral center and our guide. Now, if I may, I invite you to repeat these words that conclude that oath that we all took. So help us God. Amen.
All right. I would ask you to please remain standing at this time. Join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Please be seated. All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this time I'm going to ask VFW Post 1926 Commander John Fox to come forward and place the POW MIA cover on the empty chair, honoring the memory of those who served in the military but are no longer present, especially those missing in action, prisoners of war, and those who lost their lives in service. This serves as a powerful reminder of sacrifice and the continued commitment to never forget those who served and were lost.
Veterans, families of veterans and guests, I call attention to this empty chair. It is a symbol of all our American military comrades who are still missing and unaccounted for from our wars and conflicts. More than 83,000 Americans are still missing from World War II, the Korean War, the Cold War, the Vietnam War, the 1991 Gulf War, and the ongoing war on terror. The veterans of foreign wars and the American Legion are committed to not resting until we achieve the fullest possible accounting of all missing American military service members. Thank you to all of our veterans. Welcome home, and thank you for your service.
Today we gather to honor the men and women who have selflessly served our country in uniform. Veterans Day traces its origins to the end of World War I, which was officially concluded on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918, when the armistice was signed. Originally known as Armistice Day, this day was set aside to remember those who fought and to celebrate the peace that followed. In 1954, after the sacrifices of World War II and the Korean War, Congress renamed Armistice Day as Veterans Day, expanding the significance of November 11th to honor all veterans, those who have served in time of war and in time of peace. Today, we pause not only to remember the service of these brave men and women, but also to recognize the profound impact they have made on our nation's history and democracy. Ladies and gentlemen, it is customary for Veterans Day to stand for a moment of silence in remembrance of the armistice to end the First World War on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, and for all service members. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time I ask you to please stand as we observe that moment of silence. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Please remain standing for the presentation of the national anthem by Mr. Dave Moore and Master Sergeant Sabrina Textera, United States Air Force, retired.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. I'd like to invite Deputy First Selectman Stephen Antonio from the Simsbury Board of Selectmen to the podium for his remarks at this Veterans Day event. Steve.
Good morning, and thank you for allowing me to say a few words on this very special day. I am humbled and honored to thank our veterans for your service and contributions you have made to and for our country. The number 11 has many spiritual and significant meanings, so it is fitting that on the 11th day of the 11th month, on the 11th hour, the fighting of World War I ended in 1918. As a result of this, November 11th is universally recognized as a day of celebration. This particular November 11th marks 70 years of our celebrating Veterans Day in the United States. This is a day we honor all veterans, those on the front lines, like my grandfather on horseback in World War I, and also those in a supporting role, such as my father, who taught the joys of institutional cooking to those at Fort Dix in New Jersey during the Korean War. Regardless of how and where you ended up fulfilling your service, your unselfish pledge to place your lives on the line for our freedom. I said that wrong, I apologize. This is also a day we honor our Simsbury ancestors. The Revolutionary War had a profound effect not only on our town, but also our nation. Nearly 1,000 Simsbury residents served in the Revolution. Those early years told a tale of the courage, resourcefulness, and the dedication to principle that still contributed to the birth of our nation, and it is still shown by our veterans to this very day. Our veterans have also sacrificed personal joy in missed celebrations. While serving, our veterans missed out on holidays, birthdays, and other family celebrations. What you have given for the rest of us could never be acknowledged often enough and should never be taken for granted. Let me again express my gratitude for the freedom you have allowed my family and I to have in this life as a United States citizen. Lest I forget those that made the ultimate sacrifice, those that gave their lives so that we can be free to live ours. Our nation will always be indebted to these heroes, and it is my hope that we allow these patriots eternal life with the telling of their stories and memories of their greatest contribution to us all. Being a child of the 1960s, I am deeply influenced by John F. Kennedy. It was he who exclaimed, "As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them." In closing, I hope we can remember to thank our veterans, not just today, but each and every day that we have the freedom to safely do what we're free to do as a result of our veterans bravely doing what they were called to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Selectman Antonio. I invite you to listen to the soloist, Mr. Dave Moore, with his rendition of America the Beautiful.
Just so there's no surprise, there are about 5 or 6 verses to the song. I'm going to sing 3, the one we all know, and 2 that are directed more towards our service members. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, may God thy gold refine, till all success be nobleness, and every gain divine. Oh, beautiful for patriot dream that sees beyond the years, thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
All right, thank you, Mr. Moore. It is now my pleasure to present to you our keynote speaker. But first, some quick context. In years past, we've been honored with extraordinary remarks at this ceremony, whether from a Gold Star family member or the spouse of a World War II veteran and local legend. This year, we'll hear from an extraordinary young leader and officer at the start of his career, what Hollywood would call a prequel to the rest of the movie. First Lieutenant Griffin Meislow, United States Air Force, is a native of Simsbury. After graduating from Simsbury High School in 2017, Lieutenant Meislow joined the Air Force ROTC program at Clemson University. In 2021, following his graduation with a Bachelor's of Science in Computer Engineering, he was commissioned as a developmental engineer and assigned to his first duty station at Hanscom Air Force Base in Bedford, Massachusetts. Today, Lieutenant Meislow leads a team of 20 engineers and cyber experts utilizing advanced software tools to develop custom cloud data interfaces for high-level Department of Defense enterprise information technology programs. It's my honor to present to you today First Lieutenant Griffin Meislow.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here today to honor the brave men and women who have served our country. As a lieutenant currently serving in our Air Force, I stand here deeply aware of the sacrifices made by those who came before me, our veterans. Today, we reflect on the meaning of service, not just as a duty, but as a lifelong commitment to something greater than ourselves. In my own journey as a service member, I've learned that military service is about more than just wearing a uniform or following orders. It's about leadership, resilience, and a shared sense of purpose. Veterans exemplify these values, and they have set the standard for all of us who serve today. They've shown us what it means to step up and sacrifice, even when it's hard, and even when few may understand what that sacrifice entails. It's something I've reflected on a lot, especially when thinking about our own community here in Simsbury. For many young people, military service isn't always top of mind, not because they don't respect it, but because other paths may seem more accessible. For instance, in a poll conducted on the Simsbury High School class of 2023, 81% of students plan to attend four-year colleges. 0.4% had plans to join the military. In our average class's size of around 250, that is one student. In a relatively prosperous community like ours, military service may seem like a less conventional choice, but I've come to realize that serving is about much more than job security or financial reasons. It's about defending the privileges and freedoms that allow communities like ours to thrive. And it's about personal growth, about challenging yourself and making a tangible difference in the lives of others. When asked about the struggles of recruiting the next generation of young people to choose a career in the military, former Air Force Chief of Staff General Charles Q. Brown Jr. said that young people can only aspire to what they can see or what they know about. If we don't talk about the incredible opportunities available in this military, they might not even consider it. The military offers countless paths to success, whether through fields like cybersecurity, aviation, logistics, healthcare. You may discover skills and passions you never knew you had until you serve. General Brown himself thought he would just serve 4 years and get out before realizing his passion for flying. Whether someone stays for just a few years or builds a lifelong career, the military offers a unique chance for rapid growth, both personally and professionally. It's important for young people to know that military service isn't just about boots on the ground combat. It's about joining a team of diverse, dedicated individuals, all united by the common goal of protecting our country. As I conclude, I want to emphasize how proud I am to be a part of this tradition of service. Veterans and active duty members alike share a bond that goes beyond the uniform. It's a shared commitment to defending what makes this country great. Today, let's honor all those who have served and continue to serve, and let's remind ourselves that serving isn't just about the past. It's about the future and the next generation that will rise to protect the freedoms that we cherish. Thank you very much.
I'd now like to invite Miss Debbie Payne to the podium. Miss Payne is the honorary regent of the Abigail Phillips chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution. Miss Payne.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm here to invite everyone to the Simsbury 2024 Wreaths Across America ceremony. The Abigail Phelps chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution, assisted by Simsbury VFW Post 1926 and American Legion Post 84, will conduct this beautiful 30-minute ceremony on National Wreaths Across America Day, Saturday, December 14th at noon in the Simsbury Cemetery on Plank Hill Road. The mission of Wreaths Across America is to remember the fallen, honor those who served, and teach our children the true value of freedom. Each year, millions of volunteers gather in cemeteries across our nation and abroad to pay tribute to our service members and their families. Each time a wreath is placed on the grave of a veteran, their name is spoken out loud. You may support the mission of Wreaths Across America by ordering a wreath that will be placed on the grave of a specified veteran buried in the Simsbury Cemetery or in St. Bernard's Cemetery in Terriffill. Or you may order a wreath to be placed on the grave of an unspecified veteran whose grave would otherwise be without a wreath. Or you may order a wreath to pick up after the ceremony to place in a ceremony in another town. The cost of a wreath is $17, and I have wreath order forms here today. Order forms may also be picked up from the holders attached to the Wreaths Across America signs in front of the cemetery gate on Hot Meadow and at the entrance to the cemetery on Plank Hill Road. The Abigail Phelps chapter receives $5 from the sale of each wreath. Each year, we donate the proceeds to causes or organizations that provide support for veterans. Because of strong community support, last year we were able to place 300 wreaths, making it possible for us to make donations to the Connecticut Homes for the Brave and the Connecticut Veterans Food Bank. Like Veterans Day, National Wreaths Across America Day is an opportunity to take time to remember and be grateful for the steadfast service and sacrifices of our veterans since the founding of our nation. We must take every opportunity to ensure that the next generation will understand the importance of our military and respect the service and sacrifices of veterans and their families. The beautiful sight of hundreds of wreaths laying on the snow-covered graves of our veterans each winter serves as a reminder to the community that it is our veterans who have always and continue today to preserve our freedom, our safety, and our heritage. The balsam evergreen of each wreath symbolizes longevity and endurance. The forest scent makes us think of purity and simplicity. The red bow stands for great sacrifice, and the circular shape is a symbol of eternity. Thank you for your past and continued support for Wreaths Across America in this wonderful community.
Thank you, Ms. Payne. Now I invite Reverend Harris back to the podium for the benediction. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand.
These words conclude each service at First Church. May the Spirit of the living God go before us to show us the way, go above us to watch over us, go behind us to nudge us into places we might not go by ourselves, go beneath us to uphold and uplift us, go beside us to be our strong and constant companion, and dwell within us, that we may know that we are never, ever alone, and that we are loved beyond our wildest imagination. And may the fire of God's blessing burn brightly upon us and within us today and always. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Harris. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. At this time, I ask VFW Post Commander John Fox to retire the POW MIA cover. Commander Fox. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your participation today at the Veterans Day ceremony. Before concluding this ceremony, I'd be remiss if we did not recognize and thank both Troop 76 here with us today, as well as the Veterans Color Guard. Please join me in a round of applause for their wonderful example. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the retirement of the colors. Commander of the Guard, retire the colors. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our ceremony today. Please join us in the public library for refreshments and pastries, courtesy of the Simsbury Junior Women's Club. Thank you and have a great day.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.